Today I'm gonna show you two favorite fall treats. One is baked, one is no bake, so you have something for every mood. This plum sheet cake reminds me of my childhood because growing up in Austria, this is the kind of cake my mom would make on a Sunday. And we're making it gluten-free, dairy-free, and refined sugar-free, but with the best, fluffiest texture, and it does not compromise in sweetness, I promise.
In a medium bowl, we're combining 1 cup of full-fat coconut milk and 2 tablespoons of freshly squeezed orange juice. Whisk it together to create a buttermilk kind of texture. And then we're adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 3/4 of a cup of maple syrup to sweeten. We are also adding 1/4 of a cup of melted coconut oil. Now mine didn't melt 100%, but it was fine anyways. For the best result, I do recommend melting it completely. In a separate bowl that is a little bit bigger, we're combining all the dry ingredients. 1 cup of oat flour, 3/4 of a cup of buckwheat flour, and then after you have sifted that through, which is amazing for better texture, you're gonna add 1 cup of almond flour, 2 tablespoons of flaxseed meal, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda to get the cake to rise. We have used a bigger bowl for the dry ingredients, so we are adding the wet ingredients in the bigger bowl and whisk everything until we have the smooth batter. Once the cake batter is ready, we are pouring it into a baking pan. I have greased mine with a little bit of coconut oil, but you can also use parchment paper, which will help with removing the cake later after it's cooled down. Now distribute the batter evenly to get a really even surface, and then it's all about the toppings. I used seasonal plums because I just love them with this cake, but of course you can use any fruit you like. Slice the fruit really thinly and then layer it on top of your cake. Now we're working on our last layer, which is the crumble layer, and it takes this cake from being really good to being amazing. We're using almond flour as a base. Add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, a tablespoon of maple syrup, and about a tablespoon of coconut oil that is solidified and not liquid. Add all the ingredients for the crumble in a small bowl and mix really well. Then you distribute the crumble on top of your cake in a generous layer and bake for 50 minutes around 350 Fahrenheit. All there is left to do now is to let it cool down completely before cutting into your cake and serving with whipped cream, or I used some cashew apple butter.
This pumpkin tiramisu is absolute game changer. It's not just delicious and creamy, it's also packed with protein and really shows that anti-inflammatory recipes do not have to be a compromise in taste and flavor.
I've used the full-fat coconut cream and organic pumpkin puree from Trader Joe's for this recipe, and also 8 ounces of firm tofu I got from Costco. In a high-speed blender, we're combining all our ingredients: 8 ounces of firm tofu, a cup of full-fat coconut milk, a half a cup of pumpkin puree, a 1/4 cup of maple syrup to sweeten, a teaspoon of vanilla, and I also added 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Now blend everything until it's smooth, and then we're making our cake layer. The cake layer are made of the Simple Mills cinnamon thins, and you dunk them into a shot of espresso and layering it on the bottom of your glass jar. All you need to do now is alternate between a layer of espresso dipped biscuits and your pumpkin mascarpone. Once you've filled your jars, then let it rest in the fridge for at least 2 hours, but preferably for 24 hours to get all the flavor and to get the right texture. Once it's ready to serve, top with some oat whipped cream and a sprinkle of raw cacao powder. This not just looks like a tiramisu char, but it also tastes like one. It's high in protein, helps reduce inflammation, and is so delicious.
I really hope you enjoyed these recipes and got some good inspiration for healthy fall treats that are not too complicated to make. If you want to see more anti-inflammatory recipes, check out my other videos and also stick around because I'm going to be posting a video every Wednesday with anti-inflammatory recipes and so much more. With that said, see you in the next one. Goodbye.